Russia thought it could win the war in Ukraine in 2 weeks. We all know what happened next was not part of their plan. And now Russia is preparing for a long-haul war. It's been almost 1 year since the invasion. How will the battlefield look like in 2025? Will Ukraine be able to recapture Crimea? Will Russia be able to capture Donbass? You're watching this channel. And today, we'll discuss how will the Russia-Ukraine war look like in 2025. But before we begin, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel WarChronicle. I put out new videos every day covering the most important news from the front lines. Your support will help me to spread awareness about the ongoing war in Ukraine. It's been almost a year since Putin launched his special military operation. Today, he finds himself in a quagmire with no exit in sight. 2023 was the year of total war. Both sides started targeting each other's critical infrastructure. Russia started massive missile strikes against Ukraine's energy infrastructure. In response, Ukraine increased its strike missions behind Russian lines. They also started to target Russian airfields and air defense systems. 2023 was also the year of some spectacular defeats for Russia. Ukraine's successful counteroffensive in Kharkov and then around Kherson is for clear proof that the Russian army is inferior to its adversaries. In both cases, the Ukrainian forces managed to cross the Russian defensive lines and then encircled tens of thousands of Russian soldiers. What's worse for Moscow, these defeats were not because of bad luck or unforeseen circumstances. Both operations were clearly planned and executed by Ukraine. The reason why they worked so well was simple. Russian soldiers lacked proper training, equipment, and leadership. All of these problems are deeply rooted in the system and cannot be fixed overnight. Even the recent mobilization didn't solve them, because most of the newly mobilized soldiers ended up on the front lines without any prior combat experience or training. This led to increased casualties and even more so decreased combat effectiveness. So what can we expect in 2025? How will the battlefield look like at that time? First of all, we can expect Russia to try and gain full control over the Donbass. It's the most likely objective for Russia at this point. As for Crimea, things are not so simple. While Ukraine has a good chance to take it back, it won't be easy. The only way to do it would be a direct assault. There aren't many options to do it. A military offensive will come at a great cost for Ukraine, and they may not be willing to pay it. There is also the risk that Russia will escalate the conflict by attacking critical infrastructure or using tactical nuclear weapons. For now, Crimea seems to be safe, but who knows what might happen in 2 years. The Crimean Bridge, which connects Crimea to mainland Russia, is an obvious weak point. If Ukraine manages to strike it repeatedly and inflict heavy damage, Russia will have a hard time maintaining its control over the peninsula. In that case, Russia will have to withdraw its troops from there to focus on Donbass and leave Crimea to its fate. The second scenario is unlikely, but still possible. Ukraine could try to retake Kherson Oblast. After all, it's internationally recognized Ukrainian territory. Right now, the most Ukrainian troops can do is to stay on the occupied Russian bank of the Dnieper River and shell Russian positions. Launching a full-scale offensive will require a lot of resources. But if Ukraine manages to get more and more weapons from the West, and if the Russian army keeps suffering defeats, it might become a viable option. However, I think that even if Ukraine tries and succeeds in retaking Kherson, they won't go further. The majority of Russian forces are stationed in the east, so it would be unwise to risk losing them by advancing too far. Instead, they'll probably try to dig in and wait for the right moment to strike. That brings us to the third scenario. A stalemate. It means that neither side will be able to achieve its goals. Russia won't be able to capture Donbass and Ukraine, won't be able to recapture Crimea or Kherson. The only changes will be the continuous attrition of Russian forces and gradual liberation of Ukrainian territories. It's hard to say which scenario is the most likely. Every one of them carries significant risks. Russia needs the victory in this war to save face and consolidate power within the country. At the same time, they don't have enough resources to keep fighting indefinitely. Ukraine has the opposite problem. They have all the resources they need, but they won't be able to sustain the war effort without outside help. The question is, will the West keep supporting Ukraine in 2025? If yes, Ukraine has a chance to win. If not, then Russia will win by default. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every day covering the most important news from the front lines. See you tomorrow.